change and transformation. Really, what makes it hard for some? What makes it easy for others? Why does it seem like it comes easier to certain people and, harder for others? And what are the tools that we have, in the Inevitable You system that make change sustainable for us, make it easy, make it an enjoyable process, and make it something that is, always part of this process of becoming the inevitable us, right? The greatest version of ourselves. And so the very first point that I want to make here, it's a huge point for everything we discuss here, is, the enormous value to language. Anytime we're talking about something, to be really conscious about the words that we're using, and words have meanings, and what that does for us, for our mindset, right? How we approach things like making a change, whether it's your love or your money, your health, whatever the change is that you're considering or maybe going through currently, we want to get conscious about the language that we're using. And so I love the classic question that we've asked here before, is reality happening to us and we're just using language to describe it? Hey, the economy is, my job is, my health is, and man, I'm just telling you like it is. I'm just using language to describe my reality. Or by consciously choosing our language, we, in fact, and in turn, are creating the reality that we're experiencing. So think about that. Is reality happening and we're using language to describe it, or does our language choose our reality? Now, because I have mostly OGs here, which one is it? Correct. It is both. It's which one do you choose to believe in? And we know that, for 90% of people, they're on this first one, right? Reality's happening, things are happening to them, data points are happening, and they're using language to describe it. It's really the 10%. Man, my pen is... Come on. 10% are consciously using their language to design their reality. So right off the bat, when we're talking about change, for anything that you want to change, let's transform how you want to address it. Because that's, there's a huge difference between change and transformation. When you change, you can change right back, right? It's, like changing your clothes. One day you're wearing one outfit, the next day you're wearing another. Put an old shirt back on, a new shirt on. But when you transform, you can't change back. You have completely transformed, become something totally different. This great metaphor of the caterpillar transforming into the butterfly. So when you consider the changes that you're pursuing, what are you committed to do in your life? Is it just an incremental change? Are you thinking about it as change versus a complete transformation? Of not just, money in your bank accounts, as we talked so much about money last month, but a transformation of who you are, your being, how you view the world, how you view yourself. When you transform, you don't change back. Now, there is, a caveat to this, because in the Inevitable You system, we allow, and there's a lot of forgiveness. It accommodates for the changing back, because it's all about a function of mental software. So this old you software, whatever year you were 5 years old, because that's when it was baked in, and then modified by life experiences, we're not in the business of, and we're not trying to deinstall or completely delete that operating system, because there's things that old you does really well. We want to keep that. We want to enhance that. We want to build on that, right? We're tapping into strengths more than, fixing and focusing on weaknesses. So it's taking old you and making upgrades to that, making a new operating system, taking the best of old and modifying some of the challenges and the limitations. And so we have a great tool for this called our old song on the radio. Literally, a song on the radio can trigger and open up old software. So an old song on the radio being a metaphor for just an old software moment. Well, what's the only way to get a song out of your head? You got to put a new one. You got to put a different song on. So we have, the new song on the radio. And so it's not a shame on you, stupid you, bad you, if you have an old software on the moment. And it's all about consciousness. It's all about how long do you stay in the old software? How long does the old song play? A minute, a day, a lifetime, a year? How quickly can you turn it around? Turn the bus around, get back to heading in the right direction. So, when we're talking about change, there's this, you probably hear it a lot, maybe from your friends and family. Oh, I hate change. It's so hard. It's so difficult. I can't do this. Man, this sucks. And change. Well, do we really, hate change or love change? Well, no. We love the change that we love, right? When something amazing happens to you and changes your life for the better, maybe something unexpected, we love that, right? And when something we don't like happens to us, we don't like the change we don't like. So again, being very conscious about that, catching, maybe these habitual sentences that run around change, these meanings, your language around change, really evaluate that. Be conscious about how you're talking about it, because this is in you. What 4-year-old ever says, you know what, I tried that two-wheeler crap. Have you seen my elbows? They're all scraped up. I've had enough of that. I'm sticking to the tricycle. Man, I hate change. Going from this two-wheeler to the tricycle, I hate it. I can't do it. I'm done with it. Sticking with the tricycle. Yeah, virtually no 4-year-old on the planet does that. They want what they want. They want to ride the two-wheeler. They want to be like the rest of the kids and ride their two-wheelers and have fun with the rest of the kids. And so that's going to allude to a big point about how we focus, how you want to focus about change, is they want what they want. Now, I'm going to set the stage a little bit more for reframing how we're thinking about change and transformation here. A little bit of a recap or Inevitable You 101. And this is the secret to predictions and meanings. Do you believe our life's happening to us, right? Things are happening day to day, month to month. We have this history, of our past, these data points in our past, right? Our model of the world is based on our history. We make sense of it. We're creating meanings. We look at a data point and we know, well, this is what that means. This thing happened to me when I was 5. This thing happened to me when I was 10 or in college. We create meanings about who we are. And by using that meaning, we achieve some form of predictability. We can predict the future, because, I know when I did that, a year ago, when I did that, when I was younger, it produced this outcome, or it didn't produce this outcome, right? So we're constantly making predictions, and our actions are driven by these predictions. And because we accept reality today, because it matches this predictive process, I knew it. That's why I didn't do that, or that's why I did it this way, because I told you so, or we discard and diminish if it doesn't match our predict. Even when something happens that we didn't foresee or didn't match what we thought was going to happen, oh, that's an anomaly. That was just pure chance and random. And I can't explain that, but it's just, hey, so even it's when when it's better than the predictive process, we'll just dismiss it away, because it doesn't match what we've created as our certainty, as our predictions, as our meanings. So reality is a sum of our history, our data, our meanings, and our predictions that we're creating. But in our world, we call this software. Reality is the software. It's the operating system for predictions and meanings. So, through a number of different tools, the I Choose Meaning tool, one of the most powerful ones in the system, where we take a data point, you look at the meanings old you created, you look at half full, half empty sides of the glass about this data point, and then you get to choose the meaning you want to create. And a whole host of other tools here begins to change these equations that run. And for old you, I can or I can't, I will, I won't, up to this point, but not past this point. Now, not now. For me or not for me. I get it for other people, but not so much for me. All these things, again, the old psychology, the old software, changes when you change these meanings. And you enter this world for new you that is very unpredictable. So that's clue number one as to why this can be very difficult. There's this counterintuitive thing that happens that, when you have a breakthrough or you're doing these new things or you become new you software, things are going to be great. Things smooth out. I'm no longer afraid. Failure is gone. No. It's very much the opposite. And you lose that predictive, capability, though that, safety and comfort, hint, hint, that you had in old you psychology. All that goes out the window. It's very unpredictable. So if we load new software and we're changing the predictions and meanings, what happens? Well, for some, they're like, oh my gosh, this is it? I just change my language, change my thoughts, change my meanings and predictions, and that's all? I don't even have to go back and look at, why I was the way I was and rehash my past. I just say new sentences? Because language creates reality? Yeah. And so they take off like rocket ships. For others, it's little forward, little back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Right? Yeah, I'll try it. Oh, it didn't work here. Oh, wow, this is awesome. Oh no, I'm out of my comfort zone now. Adrenaline's flowing. This is uncomfortable. So got to slow down. Foot on the brake. Recalibrate. Rethink. And some, man, they go screaming the other way because it's violating a lot of what they thought they believed about the world, and it's way too scary. And, old you is well-meaning. It's trying to keep them safe, keep them protected. Hey, to think that new thought, to take that new action, to be this new, that's way too, no, you have too much to lose. So they run away. Or it's maybe because a loved one or a colleague. You sure about this? Hey, what's gotten into you? You're different. Are you okay? Drinking the Kool-Aid? Again, well-meaning. People don't want to see you fail. People that care about you don't want to see you fail. That's okay. They just don't understand the technology and the tools like you do. So, which one are you going to choose? Hopefully, you get what I'm putting down here and take these tools and run with it, and you'll see your life your business, your health, whatever, take off like a rocket ship when you really apply these tools. So more of why people don't change, or why it's hard for many people, is that as new software comes online, you do start to feel better about a lot of things. Maybe you have realization, oh, I finally get it. I know what plagued me for so long. And there's a lot of value to feeling better. And it also means that because we're changing meanings and predictions, we're using new tools, we're using new language, it's new thoughts, it's new emotions. And all of this is leading to new actions. And by law, what happens when you start to take action doesn't even have to be new actions. By law, if you're taking more action, it's going to lead to more failure. That is a law. It's our famous Eleanor Roosevelt quote. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's integral to success. The greater success you want, the greater failure is required. And that becomes a very uncomfortable. Now that, again, counterintuitively, you're failing more. Yeah, I don't know. This is scary. The darkness and the fear of greatness. The dangerous, risky places. And it can be very challenging. And very, dark night of the soul-ish. And all these potential pains that old you, your comfort software, avoids today. All of these things are rising. So, it makes sense. It's easy to hold on to what you got and feel good about that. You know what? Old software's been working for me. It's got me to where I am. I'm above average. I'm good. Isn't that good enough? Should I be happy with what I have? Well, I don't know if I like these new places. And that's when you see these risk management strategies start to kick in, and asset protection. Especially as we get older, we have more things to protect. College tuitions to pay for, and car and mortgage payments, and all of these things that we have to hold on to, make sure that we don't lose, because that's a main driver in old use software. So we go back to safety and comfort. And it feels better, right? Yeah, maybe for a little bit, until it's time to pay the butcher's bill, Whether it's at the end of the year, you're doing your CANI process, constant never-ending improvement, looking at what went well, what was not so well, or what could be better. And you realize, man, I haven't changed. It was 1 year has passed, and I'm right where I was a year ago. There's been no growth. And if you're not growing, the old saying, you're dying. Or whether it's accountability. Maybe you've got accountability. Another hint for you, what might help you sustain change if you don't have any accountability in place. So you meet with your coach or your buddy, or you're doing your own self-accountability, and you're looking like, man, I haven't even changed. I've been talking about it. I've been thinking about it. I want it. I think I want it. I haven't done it. Or, designing next year's software. So, yeah, it'll feel good in the moment, but when these things, all kind of come to a head and you're evaluating, that's when you realize, man, old you really kicked in and put the foot on the brake and held me back here. So, more challenges with embracing change and transformation. When we look at successful people, powerful, successful, great people on this planet, they're not that way, at least most are not that way, for reasons that most would consider. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. I mean, it's a little bit about, you got to be good at what you do. It's not about any of these resources that it's just God given and they were just given and they're just handed all these resources. And no, they are that way because their software is that way. They think differently. They take control of their lives. They own virtually everything about it. They're not even viewing this as, oh, I have to change, or change is hard or easy. That's not even a frame of reference for that. Maybe they think, frame is easy, but it's not about the change. It's the 4-year-old wanting to ride the two-wheeler. I want what I want. Man, there's an outcome I want. There's health that I want. There's love that I want. There's a business. There's a life that I want to create, and nothing's going to stop me. I just want. So if you're not running this program, this belief, this driver, here's what is running. I'm this way. My business is this way. My health is. I'm just this way because it's my nature. It goes back to, it was both taught to you. Some of it you bought, some of it you fought, right? Some of it you were bound and determined to never do, never be. In the family of origin, things that your family said to you early on in your life as to who you are. Things match your history. Again, it's matching, it's substantiating, it's perpetuating the old predictive process of, here's what my life is. Here's who I am. See, it matches here. Oh, this happened because, look, I was running this. I know who I am. I know it was supposed to happen this way. Where it doesn't match, we either change it or we change the match, and we'll say, well, here's why it doesn't match, because look, it matches over here. Right? So again, even things that are challenging our predictive process, challenging our beliefs, we'll discard it, we'll diminish it. We'll find another reason why. And so for most, when they think about change and for, embracing change, for them, change is hard, right? Oh, it's so hard, I can't do this, and I know I have to do this diet and I want this help, but to get up early and go to the gym, and I just want a donut or some cake or broccoli, really? That's our I have a nightmare speech we talk so much about. If anything that's even small knocks you off your plan, your diet, your business plan, your whatever, if it knocks you back, or you've been 3 weeks strong on your diet and you go on vacation and didn't have a good few days not following your diet, then, see, I knew it. I couldn't do it. It's too hard. And it's going to be so much harder to get back on track now. Now it's even harder to change. And then massive radical change. Oh, man, to cannonball in, to really quantum leap outside of my comfort zone, be someone completely different. Not just tiptoe, not cold, not, to do this as cold turkey, approach to change, man, that's not sustainable, is it? Well, we have tools for that. It's our famous 15 Twinkie tool that says why massive radical change is actually way more effective than the incremental approach to change. So if you want that, it's there on the member site waiting for you. I'm not going to cover it today, but we have tools to rewire how you think about change. But as long as you're running these old habitual sentences and beliefs, it's only going to make it harder. So why not think about it differently? Change what you believe. Change the software around change. Not change. Transform the software around change. Reality is software. We've talked about that. New software equals new reality. Fear and failure go up. Well, how do we deal with that? We reframe. Yeah, failure is going up, and guess what? That's awesome. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm accelerating. Failure doesn't mean I'm a failure, I'm a screw up, I suck. It's all part of the process. I get that. I know that. It's part of the equation because I built it in and I understand it. Fear is going up. Fear doesn't mean I'm never closer to death or that something's wrong. I've never been more alive. I love this. This is actually enhancing my ability to perform because it's kicking in the right chemicals in my bloodstream. The adrenaline. It's making me a greater version of myself. Remembering again your true power. This is back to that 4-year-old. That unlimited, raw version of you that you believed. I'm Superman, Superwoman. I can do anything. Nothing can stop me. We have tools for this. And it's going to buck conventional thinking and old you. It's going to reshape how you once thought about change, how you once thought about yourself. And you're going to talk to professionals and they're going to be like, what? Massive radical change? Cold turkey? No, that's crazy. No, it's all about incremental. You got to take baby steps. Change is hard, and here's how we can manage the hardness of it. And no, it's a change in how you think. Rehabs versus limps. One of the main barriers to greatness, to sustaining a transformation, goes back to the story you tell yourself as to why you don't have the thing that you have. Well, look, I broke my leg. I was skiing down Vail Mountain, and the doctor said that 90% of his patients limp with this kind of injury and surgery. I was told that. I believe that. I limp. And see, here's where it matches my history. Right? You go back to the story because it's all reinforcing your stuckness. Change is instantaneous versus change is a process. Yeah. How many times have you heard this belief? Part of the reason change is hard is because it's a process. It takes a long time, right? No. Change is instantaneous. Change, when we look at the brain, when we do brain mapping studies, brain imaging, change happens in milliseconds. It's only the bouncing back between old you and new you. When an old song comes up and you put a new song back on, that makes change feel like a process. And so many other amazing tools that we have, which we'll go into more this month. But if you have a question about them, just know that these are available to you. So when you think about change and transformation for you, which one do you want? And, beware. This is another one of those counterintuitive things. And you're going to discover some things when you really ponder this for yourself. Well, if I really do transform, what happens? What are these equations I run? What are my predictions for what happens with my, my spouse or my boss, my colleague, my family? What will they think of me? When I'm this transformed person? Or what's going to happen to my life? What's the potential pain that I'm already predicting is going to happen, because it's kind of like our don't spill the milk tool. A pitcher could rip through the ceiling right now, or a meteor can rip through the ceiling right now and rip the pitcher out of my hands. Are you imagining meteors coming through the roof when you make a transformation? Is that what's holding you back? Some great things to ponder here and journal on for whatever change you're considering.